What's going on with you guys? It is Mike City First on a Friday night, and I have not seen you guys since the NFL draft. So with that being said, what are today's topics? I'm glad you asked. In fact, here they are right here. Joe Burrow goes first, and this is going to be a big show, by the way. Joe Burrow goes first. Tank for Tua, it paid off. Justin Herbert to the Chargers. Isaiah Simmons falls to the Arizona Cardinals. Broncos 2020. For some reason, my last zero deleted. Jordan Love to the Packers. Jalen Hurts to the Philadelphia Eagles. Thaddeus Moss goes undrafted. Mitchell Trubisky, an extension. Oh boy, haters unite. A Colts fan reaction. Jameis Winston to New Orleans Saints. The Last Dance debate. Andy Dalton. Alex Smith, Gianna Bryant, and the Cowboys offense. With that being said, we will be right back. But first, a word from DrinkAid. This is Mike City First on 1200sportsnetwork.com.
DrinkAid, ready for distribution worldwide.
Joe Burrow of LSU went first in the NFL draft, and my goodness, was everybody excited, you know? This guy comes off a Heisman year where he just goes bonkers. Like you heard guys that could have been good, like Justin Herbert, Jacob Eason, Jake Fromm was mentioned. But then this guy named Joe Burrow, who had been kind of floating around at Ohio State, transfers to LSU to get a better opportunity, has a subpar sophomore year. Then junior year, he goes bananas. Okay, the guy accounts for 60-plus touchdowns, an FBS record. They win the national championship by dethroning Dabo Swinney's Clemson Tigers. Joe Burrow is it. And now he's a Cincinnati Bengal to supposedly save what's left of that franchise or what's in shambles. Like, could this be the Michael Jordan move? We know this guy's been compared to everybody and their sister on what he could be, like Joe Montana, Tom Brady. We get it. Joe Burrow is going to be good. But if you are new to my show, you know that I'm not that quick to jump to conclusions. In fact, Mike City First is primarily based on me making predictions. And I do not follow the hype. I make my own predictions based on what I see. So what I did is weeks ago, went and watched Joe Burrow's tape. And I did again a few days ago. But weeks ago, I said, man, this guy's good. And I'm an LSU fan, have been for a while. But you know what? Let me just check out this Joe Burrow guy, right? So I'm sitting there looking at this guy, and I see, granted, his pocket awareness, I mean, obvious to God. Can we be honest with ourselves? If I hear one more sad little podcast say, oh, well, he has great pocket awareness, I'm gonna lose my hair, okay? I get it. You've read the reports, but I'm being honest with you guys, Joe Burrow has a blind spot that most quarterbacks do not have. Tom Brady, although I despise Tom Brady, has a blind spot warning in his peripheral vision where if a guy's coming behind him, he can suddenly step up. It's a weird sixth sense that quarterbacks have. And Joe Burrow has that. Joe Burrow's accuracy is pretty darn good. Now, his arm strength, I've always said this, Joe Burrow will underthrow deep targets sometimes. I mean, it helps having Jamar Chase on busted coverage of A.J. Terrell. It helps having that in a national championship game. It also helps having Justin Jefferson. And it helps having the LSU offensive line and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who fell to the Kansas City Chiefs. I believe Joe Burrow is actually in a pretty good situation in Cincinnati. I think they had a pretty good draft. They drafted T. Higgins. They drafted Logan Wilson, who I haven't seen, but I know he's a good linebacker from what I've heard. And so I'm like, okay, well, Joe Burrow's got a pretty good situation. He also has Joe Mixon, possibly A.J. Green, who tanked last season. I know it's taboo to say, but A.J. Green had an ankle injury that was supposed to last at the worst until week 8. It lasted all year. Go figure. That's okay. He tanked you guys. It's not me you're mad at. It's A.J. Green, the fragile receiver that he is. But Joe Burrow's in a good situation. Granted, he has an unproven head coach. But I like the situation Joe Burrow's in. I think for people, if this dude goes like 2-14 this year and has a subpar year, I don't want to hear people come back and tell me or like backtrack on this guy. Because what we do with recency bias and hype is once something happens, like, oh yeah, this is it, this is the next big thing. But as soon as you're wrong, you backtrack and say, well, actually this, no. All I heard was Joe Montana, Tom Brady, this guy could be the next greatest thing. I'm telling you it's not true. It's not true. Joe Burrow's going to be really good. But I promise you he will have his flaws. Okay? He has a nice little blind spot. I understand that. But Joe Burrow is not what you think he is. Would I draft him over Tua? You know what? Sure. Gun to my head, I'll draft him over Tua. But I will put it this way. Joe Burrow, when he struggles, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. But hey, congrats to Joe Burrow. I know he's a small town kid from Ohio. Some poor places in Ohio, and he's from one of them. But you know what? Again, his arm strength is not the best. And to me, his athleticism, yeah, he can run a little bit, but he's not like going to break a play open. Biggest strength of his is his pocket awareness. And I watched that on tape. It was very evident. But you're going to have to make the throws sometimes. And I hope that Joe Burrow can do that with T. Higgins and A.J. Green. But who knows? We're going to start hearing excuses if he doesn't. Tank for Tua paid off for the Miami Dolphins. Remember last season when all we heard about was the Miami Dolphins, how they were just going to be some pitiful old franchise, and here they go again going 0-16. But guess what? That's what. Tua Tagovailoa happened. Although they won 4 or 5 games last year, made the Patriots not get the number 1 seed. I know that was the pinnacle of the Miami Dolphins franchise for the last few years. But this kid, Tua Tagovailoa, the team drafted at number 5, is the real stinking deal. Now, I know a lot of people and a lot of experts, quote unquote, are going to, like the Mel Kipers of the world, are going to tell you, oh, well, his injury, and I understand his injuries are a problem. We have ankle injuries. I guess, Steph Curry's a thing. But make no mistake, Tua is the most accurate passer in the draft. He has a bigger arm than Joe Burrow, and he's quicker on his feet. I don't think I ever heard the word injury bug with Tua until his hip injury. It's like when I saw Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz had his fair share of injuries. I understand that. But maybe it was just bad luck, right? Well, then he gets speared by Jadeveon Clowney, and suddenly he has injury problems. Like all of a sudden, everybody wants to write him off, and they should have kept Nick Foles. Ha, you sorry Eagles. Well, I don't know about that. Because similar to Jadeveon Clowney spearing Carson Wentz, that would have happened to Tom Brady. And if Tom Brady gets crushed like this with the way Tua did, the way he was falling, yeah, Tom Brady would get a hip injury too. And I'm tired of hearing people say, well, it ended Barry Sanders' career. Well, it didn't really do that. See, at first the report said there was that type of injury. But they later found out it wasn't that bad. Like, it was repairable. And everybody has told Trent Dilfer and his sister that, like, oh, this guy's going to be okay. Like, all the doctors have cleared him. So what's the issue? I think Miami Dolphins had a heck of a first pick. As for the other 12, it seems, picks that they seem to have, I don't know what the heck they were doing. Like, I know the offensive tackles, I get it. But, I mean, like, do we, like, no running backs? Like, the running backs, I wish I had it right in front of me, but they have like J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift, all these guys waiting. They had 3 first-round picks. Every last one of their picks were before a running back was taken. And they didn't do a man. Now, as for Tua's ceiling, again, I'm not going to be the guy to say, well, he has potential, because that's just me acting like I know something, and I don't know it like that. But Tua is going to be fine. Also, would I rest him this season? I would. I don't care how bad it gets with him in Miami. I'm sorry, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a good quarterback, okay? Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a bad quarterback. Contrary to popular belief, Ryan Fitzpatrick knows what he's doing. So I wouldn't like to suddenly say, well, just put Tua in there. Even if the team's struggling, I'll let Tua rest and get him. If you guys are concerned about his health, let him rest another season. It's like you're going to lose anything, for crying out loud. AFC East may be wide open for the Bills and the Patriots, actually. But I do believe they got their guy. And while I like Trevor Lawrence a little bit better than this guy, I still think Tua may end up being the best quarterback in the draft class. But that's just me. It's my humble opinion of Mike said it first. Justin Herbert went to the Los Angeles Chargers. And I'll tell you what, if I hear the word potential one more time, I'm going to scream. Like Justin Herbert, okay, I thought this YouTube comment was the perfect comment for what Justin Herbert is. It was like comparing him to Blaine Gabbert. Like Blaine Gabbert, he wasn't that impressive in college. He had a big arm. He was sexy. He did well in the interviews, but he kind of fell off. And then we realized what happened. He wasn't very good. I'm not saying I'm not gonna say Justin Herbert isn't gonna be great, but I'm not a fan. I wouldn't have used the 6th pick in the draft for Justin Herbert. I'm sorry, I just would not have. Why? What is the problem with Justin Herbert? Well, Justin Herbert is like a deer in headlights. Justin Herbert, actually, I've scouted quite a few quarterbacks the last 2 or 3 years. I believe that Daniel Jones, I don't know if I'd go Dwayne Haskins, but I go Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, I would pick Jacob Eason. I would pick Jordan Love. I'm not a fan of Justin Herbert. Like the guy's a deer in headlights. His accuracy is very dwindling at times. And if I'm not mistaken, although they do have Tyrod Taylor on the depth chart, looks like they're just going to say, go ahead, Justin Herbert. Like, the Chargers are actually not a bad team. They were a good quarterback play away last year from actually contending for the playoff spot that the Raiders were contending for. But obviously, Phillip Rivers is a turnover machine. But hey, if I'm the Chargers, if you got your guy, I get it. If they were sold on him like that, that's fine. Do your thing. But I'm just not sure if Justin Herbert is going to be a top 10 draft pick of all time. Like, when you draft a quarterback in the top 10 of a draft, I'm telling you, you are putting a lot of worth. When there are other guys out there and you pick up a quarterback, guys, he was not impressive at Oregon. I've watched numerous tape on this guy. He's not impressive. He's less athletic than Joe Burrow, and I'm not saying Joe Burrow isn't athletic. I'm saying he's way less athletic than Joe Burrow. Arm strength, yes, it's there. It's the Senior Bowl was like a joke. Like, it's worse than the Pro Bowl. So I thought that was funny that they he's a Senior Bowl MVP. Well, I mean, good Lord. If you've seen that thing, it's not really impressive. But, okay, if I'm being honest, Justin Herbert, I don't think he's a good quarterback. I would not have used a first-round pick on him. I'm sorry. I know it's a very taboo thing to say, but I'm not a fan. And, again, if I hear the word potential one more time with these quarterbacks, what can you give me? I don't care if Blake Bortles is 6'5" and has a big arm. What can you do on every other throw? And guess what? Blake Bortles wasn't very good. It was Blaine Gabbert. These are high draft picks. I don't know what I'm talking about, but sometimes it looks like I do. That's just me. I thought this was a very cool graphic I made, by the way. Isaiah Simmons literally fell to the Arizona Cardinals at number 7, and I was like, what? I understand the hype on Chase Young. He's a pass rusher. He's, the next J.J. Watt or whatever. Isaiah Simmons might be 1A, okay? This dude literally played there were 5 positions that he played on defense, and each one of them was 20% of the snaps apiece. It was unbelievable. what this guy can do. The Draft Network used to, called him a unicorn the first time I read their scouting report on him. And I think that pretty much sums it up. Now, Dabo Swinney raves about this guy, says he made up a new position in football because he doesn't have a position, which is very true. Simmons is a ball hawk, he's a ball-hawking safety. He's a heart-crushing linebacker. He's a get-to-the-court passer quarterback. And he ran faster than Julio Jones. And he's taller and heavier. And he ran faster than Julio Jones. That's incredible to me. That's unbelievable. And to me, speaking of the Arizona Cardinals, I thought they had a very good draft. They got an offensive tackle in the second round. But Isaiah Simmons, guys, I'm telling you, Cardinals last season, remember the narrative on them was, they would be 0-16 like the Dolphins, and the Cardinals went 7-8-1 with a rookie Kyler Murray and a rookie head coach Cliff Kingsbury. Remember the hate on Cliff Kingsbury? Just because he coached Patrick Mahomes. Well, 7-8-1 in the NFC West with that roster is pretty stinking amazing. Kenyon Drake ended up being pretty good. Turns out Adam Gase is not a good coach. Because, Ryan Tannehill went off and did incredible things as well. But Kenyon Drake is there. They stole DeAndre Hopkins in a bank heist from Bill O'Brien's story behind. They drafted, the Cardinals had another receiver as well. I'm an idiot. Anyways, guys, they draft Isaiah Simmons at number 7. It's unbelievable. It really is incredible what this team has done. And, you have the captain of your defense for the next 10, 15 years. Kyler Murray is the next best quarterback. I'm telling you guys, he is going to be good. As high as I was on Daniel Jones last year, Kyler Murray was right there. I'm telling you what. This guy's something else. Speaking of something else, let's have another word from Drinkade in case you missed it the first time. This is Mike Said It First. When we come back, the Broncos' future, how John Elway bought all in. Jordan Love to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, and what Brett Favre had to say. Jalen Hurts to the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, you mad, bro? And Thaddeus Moss, son of Randy, went undrafted. Interesting, but we will be back.
Drinkade, ready for distribution worldwide.
It's funny. In the main menu of the topics I showed you guys, the final 0 on 2020 is missing. I was like, what in the world's going on here? But anyways, apologize for that little blemish earlier. I kind of was rushing a bunch of topics in there late. I was actually kind of prepared for this one. I was like, man, what in the world's going on here? There's no 0, but hey, the show must go on, right? Anyways, so Drew Lock, of course we know from Missouri, is the Denver Broncos quarterback as of right now. We all know that Joe Flacco was there last year. That John Elway's drafted Paxton Lynch. He had Trevor Siemian, who I thought was okay. They had signed Case Keenum for crying in the sink. They've had Peyton Manning, but they've done nothing since Peyton Manning came in there and won them 2 AFC championship games. Drew Lock, to me, under pressure was not very good. I thought his touch on passes is incredible. Drew Lock can fit it in tight windows. But Drew Lock also, when pressure's in his face, he throws up a duck. But this season, the Broncos, and more than likely John Elway, basically said, let's go. I feel like John Elway, drafted most of these picks. Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler is going to be a wrecking crew with Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon for the Broncos. Now, granted, I will say this. Vic Fangio, the Broncos head coach, had this team. This was another sleeper team last year. The Dolphins ended up being better than people thought they were. The Cardinals were impressive for a team that had a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback. And then, of course, for a team that had 2 quarterbacks in 1 year, they were in the division with the Chiefs. I mean, the Broncos were competitive in most of their games, and I was impressed. Which this is John Elway saying, I have swung and missed on so many quarterbacks. I'm going to give you Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to give you KJ Hamler. I'm going to give you not only a sleeper in Phillip Lindsay, but a stud in Melvin Gordon. This Broncos team is going to be stacked. And for the next 2 years, if Drew Lock does not perform, guess who was right? I mean, good Lord Almighty. All I'm saying is I like Drew Lock. I really do. I think he can be a good quarterback, and I honestly have seen like a video of like him like being like talking and stuff. Seems like a cool dude. He really does. But this is the NFL, and I don't care how cool you are. Do you have it? And John Elway is giving this man the heavens and the earth, man. He said, it's all yours. Go out there and win. Again, Broncos were a pretty stinking competitive team last year for a team with a losing record. They're going all in on Drew Lock right now. The next 2 years are going to prove who was right about Drew Lock. Me or the haters. I mean, just saying. Like literally, think about this again. Jerry Jeudy, who I think is the best receiver in the draft. KJ Hamler, a nice, tough young guy from Penn State. Melvin Gordon, a proven stud. Phillip Lindsay, and that defense. I mean, good Lord. Oh, and shout out Von Miller, who no longer has coronavirus. That's actually pretty impressive. I didn't even know he had it. There's so many guys that have coronavirus right now. I had no idea. But shout out Von Miller. He's back to normal. He ended Cam Newton's career. Okay, next up. Jordan Love, the Utah State quarterback, went to the Green Bay Packers. And not just, the second or third round. No, Jordan Love the Packers traded up some picks to get this guy. So you had Aaron Rodgers. You guys were like a game or 2 away from the NFL, from the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers gets this in return. I thought this stat was incredible. Did you guys know that Aaron Rodgers, during his tenure with the CC, has been a starter for the Packers? The Packers have never drafted a running back or wide receiver in the first round. Like, that's unbelievable to me. It's unreal what this team has done to this guy. Like, they've sabotaged Aaron Rodgers. It's like the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. And I hate comparing the two, but really, Aaron Rodgers is supremely talented. LeBron James, supremely talented. And they're given the crappiest of organizations. Now, Green Bay Packers, because of their history, the fans will say, oh, it's no excuse. Well, it is an excuse because Aaron Rodgers is actually, he's a fantastic quarterback. And this, in front of your screen, is what he gets in return, and that, to me, is comical. It's hysterical. It's almost impressive how dumb some teams can be. It really is. It's like the Bears getting 10 tight ends on the roster. Like, are we stupid right now? Like Jordan Love, and also, so Matt LaFleur, I was one of the guys who said that Aaron Rodgers was a good. I thought he was given a bad rap. I thought they got along last year, and then they draft Jordan Love. Like Matt LaFleur. I mean, is he that? I understand that, like, some guys, like, you want to make an organizational decision, okay? You don't want to rely on one player. I don't know what the heck this is then. This in front of your screen is relying on one player. When you draft a quarterback, when your quarterback is 4 years or like 5 years younger than Tom Brady, I think Aaron Rodgers is like 36, 37. Tom Brady's 43. Are you kidding me? I feel like the Packers have blinded themselves into thinking that we've given Aaron Rodgers a bunch of help. Like Aaron Jones busting out last year is not necessarily a lot of help. Alan Lazard, I had never even heard of until Aaron Rodgers got him going. Jimmy Graham has been trash since he left Seattle. Why is Aaron Rodgers given all this criticism? I don't understand it. It's unfair. And this is an example of an organization being stupid. Now, as for Jordan Love himself, I mean, he's good. But he's another guy where you hear potential. He's a big arm. He can run a little bit. I don't give a care, man. Who cares? Jordan Love at Utah State was doing too much so many times. He would really make some good throws, and then I'm like, what the heck was that, dude? Listen, I'm a Colts fan. All I heard about was Jordan Love and Jacob Eason. I'm going to get to that on the next segment. But all we heard was Jordan Love and Jacob Eason. And I want to believe it. I mean, I think Jordan Love's better than Jacob Eason. I'm going to get to that. But Jordan Love is no, Aaron Rodgers. He can be the next Patrick Mahomes. Who in the world says that crap, though? Like, I saw nothing of Patrick Mahomes when I watched Jordan Love. Patrick Mahomes is smart. He was a baseball player. Jordan Love, just an athlete with a big arm. Like, I get it. They're sexy, I understand. But what are we doing here? Come on now, dude. It's just, I don't understand. It's stupid. Aaron Rodgers, man. Oh, Brett Favre goes on a radio show and says he doesn't believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Packers when his career's on. He believes he's going to finish his career somewhere else. That's not taboo to say. But I promise you Aaron Rodgers was asked by Brett Favre, hey, can I say that what you just said to me? I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers said yeah. Maybe he'll regret saying that because it was a heat of the moment thing. But the Aaron Rodgers run just ended. I don't care how well the Packers do this year. The Aaron Rodgers run just ended in Green Bay. You can say that, well, they're 3 years away. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers could easily demand a trade and say, screw you guys. I'm not saying he would ever do that, but we're at that point. If Aaron Rodgers, there's no way in heck you can tell me he did not approve of Brett Favre saying what he said on that radio show. I firmly believe Aaron Rodgers has said, screw these guys once and for all. It's sad because he was doing pretty good. I like Aaron Rodgers. Great quarterback and disrespected by his organization. But it's the Packers. I don't care. This is 2020. This isn't 1920. Get out of your heads, man. Speaking of sour quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts was drafted by the Eagles in the second round. If you could have bet money in Vegas and saying Jalen Hurts would go before Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm, you probably would have won some money. I'm sure people did as well. But Jalen Hurts to Philly was an okay move. I wasn't as shocked as I was with Jordan Love to the Packers because that was like a slap in the face. Carson Wentz does have some injury issues. I know I said it before that being speared by Jadeveon Clowney is not necessarily injury issues, but he has had knee problems before. And Jalen Hurts, to me, there are a couple things I can see about this guy. Although he's not accurate, the guy's a teammate. I mean, if you look at the Tua situation, Jalen Hurts was a professional teammate. Kindly transfers to Oklahoma. Has a great year. Jalen Hurts also got better each year he played. And I was one who said, listen, this guy I don't think he's a very good thrower. I've said it for the last 2 or 3 years. But he got better each year. I know Oklahoma's offense will make that look incredible sometimes, but he got smarter. He got not as wild with his throws. Again, that could be a lot of Lincoln Riley. But Jalen Hurts got better each year he played. And that's incredible. And the fact that he's a great teammate just tops off the fact that it's going to be like Nick Foles. Like Nick Foles, although I believe Jalen Hurts is going to be better than Nick Foles, Nick Foles was the perfect teammate. He would come in there when asked to do so, but he wouldn't just come in. He wouldn't demand it. He wouldn't, be the elephant in the room. Jalen Hurts will not be that guy either. He'll just be sitting there waiting for an opportunity, and I believe he's going to get one. And I don't know when, but Jalen Hurts is going to be a great backup quarterback for the Eagles. Okay, so Thaddeus Moss of the LSU Tigers went undrafted, son of Randy. Although it's funny because like half the LSU team, it seems like, got drafted. But I have a question for you guys. What the heck was going on here? Like, I heard about the foot issue, but there were guys coming off of torn ACLs that I saw ESPN talk about. Thaddeus Moss is the son of Randy Moss. And I'm not saying he's going to come close to what his father did. But 250-plus players are guaranteed better than Thaddeus Moss? I find that comical. I really do. If anything, his dad could at least teach him his route running and stuff, and hands ability, like stuff like that. He's not the biggest tight end, but my God, like what do you want him to do? He had 0 drops last year. He was in a star-studded offense, and half your teammates get drafted and you have to wait. That was interesting to see. I was not a fan of this whatsoever. I was not a fan of Thaddeus Moss when undrafted. I wish my Colts would have picked him up. I wish something, man. This was weird. This was very weird. And I feel like there's an underlying issue here about his character. Because, again, I get to hear the Jones fracture, whatever. But there were guys with torn ACLs coming into that draft as well. Okay, so 250-plus players being better than Thaddeus Moss, I'm not buying it. I'm sure he'll have his opportunity and prove a lot of people wrong. Not saying he's going to be some game-changing game breaker, but if he is, more middle fingers up, okay? When we come back, I've got a crazy amount of topics right here. Mitchell Trubisky could be signing an extension. Not my words, Dan Graziano's. The Colts. I'm a fan of the Colts. What I think about our draft, you'll be very surprised. Jameis Winston. Is he going to get better in New Orleans? Interesting. We'll be right back, but first, a word from 12-Ounce Sports Network, weight loss. This is Mike Said It First. Okay, Bears fans, before you cry, I understand it hurts. I really do. But your quarterback is Mitchell Trubisky. In his first year, he almost won a playoff game if it wasn't for Cody Parkey missing 3 field goals, including the game tire. Trubisky was in an offense last year where all we heard about was Matt Nagy came from the tree of Andy Reid. Well, okay, how does that look? How did he use David Johnson? Allen Robinson, how did he look? I don't think he was that great last year. The Bears' defense fell off a little bit. So I have a question, Bears fans. When you see the words in front of your screen, how does that make you feel? You guys think I'm on crack? Well, hear me out. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano reportedly, this is a report from Dan Graziano, who's not a bad source. He says the Bears are going to watch Trubisky play this year, even if Nick Foles comes in. If Trubisky does poorly, their goal is to extend Trubisky if he can prove himself this year. You know what? The funniest thing, everybody on Twitter, and I have not seen one person like myself, which means I could be wrong, or maybe I just don't care about recency bias. Everyone on Twitter has told me Trubisky sucks. I've heard that so many times. If there's one quarterback everybody on Twitter agrees on, it's Mitchell Trubisky. Again, he almost won you Bears fans a playoff game until Cody Parkey showed up, okay? That's not me. That's facts. Okay, I didn't make that stat up. Cody Parkey missed 3 field goals. So if you had Adam Vinatieri, you might have won the playoff game. But you didn't. You had Cody Parkey. So Mitchell Trubisky has an off year last year. I actually think it was pretty good for the standards that people say, oh, he can't throw, he sucks, he's trash. What? You guys realize that Nick Foles is a guy of runs? Like, Nick Foles, yeah, he was hurt with the Jaguars, but he wasn't very good when he was there. Nick Foles, ever starting his career with like 27 touchdowns, like 2 interceptions, ends up sucking until he gets on the run with the quick college offense in the Super Bowl. So why do you guys want to say, well, Nick Foles or draft a quarterback? I'm telling you guys, I would take Mitchell Trubisky as much as I would take Jordan Love, Jacob Eason, etc. The only 2 guys I wouldn't take Trubisky over is Tua, Anthony Gordon, and Joe Burrow. I think it's impressive what fans do to these quarterbacks, man. It's always the quarterback's fault. Again, supposedly, Matt Nagy was the god. You know, he was from Andy Reid's coaching tree. You know what's funny? Not everyone from Bill Belichick's coaching tree has succeeded. So why does that make everyone from Andy Reid's tree succeed? Because the media tells you Trubisky isn't good? Again, he almost won you a playoff game. Like, you cannot make this stuff up, man. Has an off year because of an incompetent head coach and an incompetent offense. In a game where it was close, he threw like 50 or 60 times, but it's all Trubisky's fault. Please. If Trubisky gets an extension, boy, I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it because I root for the guy. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's really good. I'm saying he's an above average to good quarterback. And people act like he's so replaceable. It's flat out not true. Okay. The Indianapolis Colts. My gosh. Okay. I didn't realize. I thought there was like 5 Colts fans, me included, in the entire world. Like, outside of Indianapolis, I did not think there was a Colts fan in existence besides myself. And then I said my take on the Colts NFL drafts. My goodness gracious, if I'm not an idiot, right? So, we drafted Michael Pittman Jr. with our first pick in the 2nd round. And that's fine. I prefer Laviska Shenault, but maybe they saw something different. We need a wide receiver. I'm happy we got one. We picked up Jonathan Taylor. Again, Jonathan Taylor broke records in high school. He broke records in college. And if he's sharing with the injury-prone Marlon Mack, I have a question for you guys. Is Jonathan Taylor, is he going to last 3 years and then be done? Is his production going to fall off? I think Jonathan Taylor is an excellent running back. But I also understand that the guy has mileage that people usually criticize, but Colts fans seem delusional to that fact. I'm just wondering. And then our quarterback was picked up, and I couldn't have thrown my phone at the TV screen harder. Jacob Eason. Here he comes. Jacob Eason. Now when I watched Jacob Eason's tape, and I said, okay, this guy comes from Georgia, replaced by Jake Fromm. Because of an injury. No, he had a chance, and he lost the starting job. Don't injury me. He had a chance and he lost the dang starting job. Then he goes to Washington, has to sit for a year, supposedly learning the playbook. And then he goes to Washington. Oh, they had a bad team. Listen, Daniel Jones at Duke had a bad team. But it stood out to me that he was a good quarterback. Now, when Jacob Eason fell not to the first round, not to the second round, not to the third round, he fell to the fourth round. I was like, oh, yes. But then came the Colts pick. Mel Kiper said, this would be a great pick if they pick up Jacob Eason. Okay. So, let me explain to Colts fans exactly what Chris Mortensen said, an ESPN insider who knows a lot of inside information that we don't. Here's the reason, or should I say two reasons, why Eason might have fallen, and I quote, Jacob Eason had work ethic issues and accountability issues. Are you, what? Okay, as a Colts fan who's being dragged by other Colts fans, when Chris Mortensen said this, it could not have been a bigger middle finger to the idiots who were telling me I'm stupid, okay? So, a quarterback, right, not only does he not want to work hard to get better, which proves my point about why he wasn't better at Washington, supposedly sitting a year learning the playbook, and it also proves my point when your quarterback has accountability issues? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. Man, I can't even believe this. So you're telling me that Phillip Rivers, who's been turnover-prone himself, because he's a veteran, he's going to groom Jacob Eason. What? Come, guys. Man, I can't. This could not have been a worse draft again. Michael Pittman Jr. is nice. He's not special. Jonathan Taylor is nice. He's got a lot of mileage. Okay? Jacob Eason, man, I swear to you, every team, even the Patriots passed on him. I'm going to talk about it that way later. But it was all about Jacob Eason, and the Colts bought into the dang media. I was so disappointed in Chris Ballard. I'm serious right now. Maybe we found some diamond in the rough, but I'm telling you guys, an undrafted quarterback who was picked up by the Seattle Seahawks, Anthony Gordon, was better than Jacob Eason. The world would have gone up in arms, but I promise you, Colts fans, you would have been impressed with Anthony Gordon. We're stuck with accountability. We're stuck with blame gaming, lazy behind Jacob Eason. You're welcome. Thank you, Chris Ballard. Jameis Winston has finally been signed. He went to the New Orleans Saints. This after a year where he threw for 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, which is, incredible, right? And he threw 30 interceptions. To where Bruce Arians got rid of him and wanted 43-year-old Tom Brady because Jameis Winston wasn't good enough. So Jameis Winston is signed by the Saints, and oh my goodness, here comes the future of New Orleans. Just wait till Drew Brees is retired, and then here comes Jameis Winston to save the day. Oh, man, come on now, guys. Like, common sense is a wonderful thing when used correctly. The NFL is getting to the point where Jameis Winston is just beginning. Jameis Winston, not even Eli Manning did this, by the way. Jameis Winston became the first quarterback since like the 1950s to throw 30 interceptions in a season. Back then, everybody was doing it. I would hope that not everybody's going to be doing it this time around, but with a more pass-eccentric offense nowadays, I promise you Jameis Winston will only be the beginning. Just like Steph Curry is going to lead the way for guys like Trae Young and company, Jameis Winston leads the ways for guys who are turnover prone. He can make the throws to win some games, but when pressure's on, he's going to throw an interception. Guys, Jameis Winston has peaked, okay? You cannot tell me 30 touchdowns and 5,000 yards without bringing up 30 interceptions. It's just not possible. If it was 20, you could have an argument. But 30 interceptions in 1 year is absolutely terrible. This guy was the number 1 pick. He was the Buccaneers' next best thing. He was a national champion in Florida State. I get it. To groom a quarterback? But, I mean, what do you want him to... What are we grooming here? We're grooming a guy who's been in the league for like 6 years now and threw 30 interceptions with Bruce Arians. I mean, I don't know how worse you could get, man. He had Mike Evans, and he threw 30 interceptions. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know. It's 10:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When we come back, we're going to talk about Last Dance debates. That should get pretty fun. And later on, Andy Dalton, a Patriot, we'll have to see. Alex Smith, Gianna Bryant, and Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back to Mike to the First. But first, a word from your boy. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's show. I'd like to use this break as a self-promotion. If you like what you hear, email me, michaelcarvelis12ounce@gmail.com, and maybe we can create a long-lasting partnership. I love promoting brands, and it'd be cool to have a product I know listeners and myself would like. It would benefit both sides. Thank you for tuning in. Now, where were we again? This is Mike to the First on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, etc. I'm your host, Michael Carvelis, and where were we, you ask? That's a great question. It's time for the Last Dance debates. Okay, so all we've seen every Sunday for the last 2 weeks is Michael Jordan winning in 1998. We've seen how important Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen were. We've seen how Jerry Krause was supposedly an idiot, although since 1998 the Bulls have been trash, and that's what Jerry Krause was trying to avoid, but you know what? It's for the GOAT, right? Greatest basketball player of all time, somehow, some way. You know what's funny? My buddy Ian McQuiston said to me on Twitter before The Last Dance even aired that he hopes that I don't make this a Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate. So I didn't. I didn't until the idiots on Twitter made me do so. One of those idiots is Skip Bayless. The other one is Charles Barkley. So many idiots. You know what's funny? Again, I'm going to reiterate this. Jerry Krause, for a guy who the documentary slanders into being some terrible some fat slumlord who's short, and Michael Jordan even bullied him about that. But we hear about how bad he was and how he wanted to sabotage the team. Again, since 1998, how many Eastern Conference Finals have the Bulls made? Since 1998, how many great players have the Bulls had besides Zach LaVine and Derrick Rose? Since 1998, what has happened in Chicago? Exactly what Jerry Krause was trying to avoid. And then my favorite part about all of this is the debate that comes up with LeBron James. LeBron James goes on Twitter and says, man, remember, LeBron grew up a Michael Jordan fan. He wanted to be like Mike until, of course, we realized he was better than Mike, but that's none of my business. So Michael Jordan is literally producing this documentary, showing all these clips of guys saying, oh, he was the greatest player of all time. All these Chicago beat writers who are now ESPN reporters are saying how wonderful Michael Jordan was, how untouchable and how godlike he was. Man, I cannot wait until LeBron James has the documentary Believe Land in 20 or 30 years, man. Michael Jordan is petty as crap for this. In the year where Kobe Bryant died, Michael Jordan finally releases this documentary when the NBA is on hold, just so we can watch it and supposedly be reminded of how great this guy is. And all I've learned is how he's not as good as people think he was. If I hear the word killer instinct one more time, I don't know what I'll do. It's really comical at this point how many psychiatrists will tell you, and I'm being sarcastic here, how many sports fan psychologists will try to tell you he had a killer instinct. He never backed down. So Russell Westbrook, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kobe Bryant, they all take plays off. Because supposedly Michael Jordan's the only player in NBA history who's ever given it his all. I swear to you, man, all about Michael Jordan. That's it. I mean, people view him as a god, as some deity. It's unbelievably stupid. It's really stupid. But hey, if you try to defend LeBron James, you're a bronze sexual. It's fantastic, man. Really is. When we come back from this last break with a word from Lexington Law, could Andy Dalton or Cam Newton be a Patriots? Alex Smith. How good was he? And why was his leg injury life-threatening? Rest in peace, Gianna Bryant. But I'm going to call out all the WNBA haters. You might be surprised on why. And CeeDee Lamb's wearing number 88. How are the Cowboys going to look next year? We'll be back. But first, a word from Lexington Law. This is Mike Said It First.
Nothing makes us happier at Lexington Law than when our clients cancel our services. Listen to this client call and see what we mean.
Lexington Law Firm, this is Erin.
I would like to cancel my account.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, don't be. Actually, you guys have done tremendous work for me, and I was working with you for several years now, and my goal was to get a mortgage written by the end of this year, and I just got that mortgage commitment.
That is wonderful.
My credit went from like 440 working with you guys to 700.
Nice.
And I got a very good 4.25% 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I have nothing at all bad to say. If you ever want me to write a testimonial, well, I will. As a matter of fact, I've recommended you to a lot of friends.
Lexington Law has served over 500,000 clients, taking expert action on their credit that has led to the removal of millions of questionable negative items from their credit reports. Call now and learn more about how Lexington Law may be able to help you in the removal of negative items from your credit report, such as collections, late payments, charge-offs, and many others. Call Lexington Law today.
Before we get to Andy Dalton, Alex Smith, Gianna Bryant, the Cowboys offense, here's a show recap from Friday, May 1st, 2020 with your boy Mike, who carved out of Mike Said It First. Joe Burrow went number 1 and is in a better situation than people think, but please do not believe the hype. I'm telling you guys, you're going to regret it. Tua Tagovailoa, the tank worked out for the Dolphins, but the rest of their draft was pretty suspect, although Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a bad quarterback. Just rest Tua. Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers, and I thought it was pretty interesting, but hey, LA was a good quarterback away last year. I mean, we'll have to see. Isaiah Simmons falls to the Cardinals, who had a really surprising good year last year. We'll have to see how the Cardinals do, but I believe Isaiah Simmons is the very close second-best player in the draft. Denver Broncos in 2020 and 2021, well, John Elway's basically saying, Drew Lock, it's all yours now. The way they drafted Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, they signed Melvin Gordon. They still have Philip Lindsay. They were competitive last year with Coach Vic Fangio. Drew Lock has no excuses right now. Jordan Love to the Packers. Is finally the end of Aaron Rodgers. I don't care if it takes 3 years for Jordan Love to be the starter. This was the perfect example of slap in the face, and it proved everything Aaron Rodgers fans have said, that although it's the Green Bay Packers, the organization is not as good as it used to be. Jalen Hurts to Philly was interesting, but I believe he could be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts is a great teammate, and he got better every single year. He will not be a problem for Carson Wentz. Thaddeus Moss went undrafted, which I thought was interesting. There might be some underlying character issues because he was a son of Randy Moss. And half of the LSU team got drafted, but somehow 250-plus players are better than him. I don't get it. Mitchell Trubisky, despite Bears fans crying woe, might be extended if he has a good campaign this season. And Nick Foles is not the answer, Chicago, I'm telling you. Colts fan reaction from me. Michael Pittman Jr. is not a sexy pick. He's just good. Jonathan Taylor, hopefully his wheels don't fall off in 3 years. And Jacob Eason is a lazy, gaming idiot. Sorry. Jameis Winston was signed to the Saints, but I'm sorry, fans, he's peaked. 30 interceptions was all you need to know. The Last Dance has not proven anything about Michael Jordan. We already knew what was going on, and now it's just showing how big of a jerk he was. The Bulls haven't been making squat since 1998. Final 4 topics of the night. Andy Dalton, right now, is a free agent. Apparently the Bengals are all in on Joe Burrow. So, Joe Burrow is your chance. But Andy Dalton is the latest name to be floated around in New England because the Patriots somehow need a quarterback. Patriots, they could have drafted Jacob Eason. They could have drafted Jordan Love. They didn't. Although ESPN's Trey Wingo said, they're going to draft the quarterback. I don't know how he knew that, but they didn't draft the quarterback, so joke's on you, Trey Wingo. Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers. Well, guess what? None of them are Patriots, and none of them will be Patriots. I will be shocked if Cam Newton or Andy Dalton sign with the Patriots. I'll be absolutely shocked. Andy Dalton, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. He's an average quarterback. But Bill Belichick, because of pride and because of grooming, because Brian Hoyer has been there before, Jarrett Stidham is Bill Belichick's guy until further notice. I'm sorry. Patriots fans, and especially the media, need to stop wishing these quarterbacks onto the Patriots roster. It's not going to happen. Until Jarrett Stidham stinks to bed, Bill Belichick knows what he's doing. He took Tom Brady, made a 6th-round pick, considered the GOAT. Come on, guys. Alex Smith, in an E60 documentary, so the 60 Minutes version of ESPN, Alex Smith apparently, we always heard that it was a life-threatening injury, that knee injury that he had a couple years back. But apparently it was an infection in his knee. The injury caused the infection. And I thought it was kind of sad to see that. Alex Smith was always, the general idea of him was he was a game manager. He wasn't very good. And I agree. From what we've seen from Patrick Mahomes, yeah, Alex Smith might have held them back in Kansas City. But don't make any mistake when you realize that Alex Smith is the reason the 49ers made the big game. Colin Kaepernick is not a very good thrower. How do we know this? Before he protested, Colin Kaepernick was behind Blaine Gabbert as a starter. Blaine Gabbert was ahead of Colin Kaepernick. I mean, come on, guys. Can we not kid ourselves about this? Alex Smith was the 49ers under Coach Jim Harbaugh. Colin Kaepernick's quarterback coach that year was Lamar Jackson's quarterback coach this past season. Lamar Jackson won the MVP. So Colin Kaepernick was the beneficiary of a great offensive scheme. Alex Smith is one of the most disrespected quarterbacks I've ever seen. He, to me, is a starting quarterback in the NFL, and the fact that it's come this far is kind of sad. He's with the Redskins when everybody wanted Dwayne Haskins. Turns out Haskins isn't as good as people thought he was. I don't know what I'm talking about. But Alex Smith is a good quarterback. And I feel sorry that he's had to battle this thing all the way back. He may not ever see a starting job again. But I will never forget Alex Smith, and I hope you guys don't either. Before we get to the Gianna Bryant, we're going to talk about the Cowboys offense. So CeeDee Lamb is going to wear number 88 this year. He wanted number 10, but Jerry Jones, probably from his yacht, via Zoom, said no. He wanted CeeDee Lamb to wear the same number that has been worn by Dez Bryant, Michael Irvin, etc. Now the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They also have Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. Will the Cowboys' offense be good? Yeah, I like Dak Prescott. I really do. I think he's better than people give him credit for as well. Eagles fans and Cowboys fans like to go back and forth, but it's like Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott are good. I think Carson Wentz is better, but Dak Prescott is a reliable quarterback. Ezekiel Elliott is a really good running back, but his wheels are kind of falling off. We'll have to see what he does this year. Amari Cooper has never lived up to the to the top draft pick hype that he was. How could anybody says if he's the next best thing, why hasn't he shown it yet and on two different teams? CeeDee Lamb, to me, is a good wide receiver. Could be a very good wide receiver, but he will not be great. CeeDee Lamb is not as fast as people say he is. You can tell that from his 40 time. If you look at the college tape, it was a lot of wide open throws from Jalen Hurts. Again, Lincoln Riley could be the reason why CeeDee Lamb is this good. And why Jalen Hurts is a second-round pick. The Cowboys' offense will be good. I think it will be better than last year's. I believe Zeke will bounce back. And I believe Mike McCarthy will help out Dak Prescott. But my thing about the Cowboys has always been this. Until Jerry Jones hands it over to his son or he dies, Cowboys are mediocre. He showed you who he was, Jerry Jones did, when he kept hometown boy Jason Garrett for all those years. Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl like 10 years ago, or 8 years ago for crying out loud. Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. I had to talk about the Cowboys because Cowboys are a sexy topic on people's minds. There's not much to talk about here, but CeeDee Lamb wearing the number 88 is interesting. I think Jerry Jones is a control freak, but hey, I would be too if I had $1 billion in the bank daily. Final topic of the night, Gianna Bryant. Now, Gianna Bryant's birthday was today. She would have been 14 years old. Vanessa Bryant made an awesome post on Instagram about how her soul lives on and stuff like that. I want to remind people who you supposedly idolized growing up. A lot of you guys supposedly idolized Kobe Bryant. Somehow you guys said Kobe, and I think that's a complete lie because I never heard that in my entire life. But when he died, it was all about, I said Kobe when I shot the ball, which is probably not true. Same people who say they idolize Kobe Bryant will absolutely dog the WNBA. How do you think Kobe would feel if when his daughter's drafted, all he hears is slander on why she's not even close to her father? This chick was not even 14 when she died, and I don't know if you've seen tape of her. She's pretty good at basketball. She's very good at basketball. I have been one to say that Sabrina Ionescu is going to change the WNBA. There is one person I believe could have changed it even more so, and that's the daughter of Kobe Bryant. It's impressive how good this girl was at such a young age. It's even more impressive that she had Kobe Bryant as her father. WNBA was affected as much as the NBA was. For years, the NBA was not very good. As great as Wilt Chamberlain was as an athlete, as good as Bill Russell was, they're dogged down because people literally sit there and say that there was a bunch of unathletic white dudes. Do you guys know what that means? It literally means that the NBA was not very good back then. The WNBA is in the same light. Until a Michael Jordan type figure comes, the NBA would have never taken off. The WNBA is the same way. Sabrina Ionescu is the last hope of the WNBA for the foreseeable future. Book Gianna Bryant in about 4 or 5 years would have been the attraction. She would have been the daughter of Kobe, Little Mamba. We will never be able to see that. It's kind of sad. But next time you say the WNBA is not very impressive, mainly because they can't dunk, keep a reminder of who you idolized. His daughter was going to be the sport that you mocked. And even after his death, you guys still mock the WNBA. Rest in peace, little Gigi. And honestly, I feel sorry for you guys that actually dog the WNBA. Because you're on the wrong side of history. In 10, 20 years when the WNBA is good, I would have been on this stool by myself. I would have been supporting Sabrina Ionescu, Miranda Stewart, Maya Moore, Asia Wilson, Elena Deladon, and Gianna Bryant. While you guys were dogging it with your athlete avatars. Some of the athlete avatars that have Gianna Bryant as their profile picture, it's really quite sad to me. They will go on these WNBA pages just to hate, just to say, get back to the kitchen. Like, it's just stupid. And I'm in no way like some woman, some female activist. Where I am, this person who recognizes talent. WNBA has it. But Gianna Bryant was the big ticket. Now she's gone. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We went over an hour today. But don't worry, I made sure that the people, the good folks at 12 Month Sports were okay with that. They're probably drinking on a Friday night anyways. This show is brought to you by Drink Aid. You had a good Friday night with Friday Night Mike? In quarantine, that is? Don't worry, Drink Aid's got you covered. It also was sponsored by 12 Month Sports Weight Loss. I need to use it. I haven't yet, but I need to use it. Also was sponsored by Lexington Law. Call the number that you saw there. Thanks so much again for the opportunity, 12 Month Sports, to be on this network. Hope you guys enjoy the show. If you guys see a replay, that's fine. I'm here for you anyways. Check out the Mike Said It First YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at Michael Carvelis. That's MichaelKarvelis. Until that time is, until we meet again on Friday, next Friday, have a good one.